out from my window. Sun's coming up like the day before. You're like a stone on my pillow. I don't make a sound when I shut the door.
Hello and welcome to my garden and the dinosaurs who live there. I have had a busy week this week trying to knock this garden into shape. Been doing quite a lot actually, which I'll show you. It is a bit surprising, to be fair, because I am a bit on the injured list at the moment. I have been struggling with sciatica, which is pain down, going from your back or hip down the backs of your legs, and it can be really, really debilitating. It means I can only walk for very short periods of time, maybe a minute, before it really starts affecting me. Fortunately, sitting down alleviates the pain, and leaning over, bending over front ways doesn't seem to trigger it, but standing up straight and walking does. So I've been sort of going from one area in the garden sitting down to another area of the garden sitting down, and doing as much as I can sitting down or leaning forward. It's surprising how much you can do. And I've gone to the GP, the osteopath. I've had various things prescribed and exercises to do and whatever, but it remains a real nightmare. If I couldn't do any gardening at all, I would be climbing the walls, but at least I can do bits and pieces. I shouldn't really be lugging about large bags of compost though. With that in mind, I actually didn't know how much I was going to get done this week, but I actually got quite a lot done, so I'm quite happy. So let me show you what I've been up to earlier on this week and this weekend. Enjoy. It's Tuesday the 4th of July and it's quite grey and a bit breezy. I think it's going to rain, but then brighten up a bit later on, but it doesn't feel like summer or near enough summer. I'm looking here at one of the apple trees that I put in the spring. This is Laxton Superb. It's on a dwarf rootstock, so it's not going to grow much taller than this, which is about 6 feet tall at the minute. I didn't expect I'd get any apples on it this year since it's the first year in, and I still might not, but there are lots of little apple babies on it at the minute. So I'm assuming some of these will drop off, leaving just a few, if any, in its first year. But yeah, I'm really happy with it, with how it's looking right now. There's tons on it. I guess if they don't fall off voluntarily, I will take some off, because I think there's too many for this little apple tree to bear at the minute. Any suggestions as to what I should do with this would be welcomed actually. I'll go over here to the other apple that I put in. This is a russet type. It's called Egremont russet, and there are a few anyway, little babies on this one. That's one. There's another, and there's another there. So that's sort of what I expected on the other one. We'll see, hopefully I'll get a couple of apples in this one as well. So I was busy this weekend and I set up a new beehive. So it's a polyhive from Pains, which is what the one at the back is. They come in a sort of greenish colour. Let me just zoom in. So this middle box here it actually hasn't been painted, but the one at the top and the roof and the base I painted in a sort of greenish masonry paint. And this one, as you can see, I've painted blue. So I did what is called doing a split at the weekend. I don't know whether it's been successful or not, but it involves taking some frames of bees, baby bees and honey and pollen stores from one hive and plonking them in the other, along with nurse bees, which are the bees that help bring up the baby bees. I did it because there was, this hive here was getting full of bees and they looked like they wanted to swarm, which means half of them disappear. So instead of that, I split some of them into this hive. So hopefully I now have, or I will have, another colony of bees. There was what we call there was a couple of queen cells that have popped into this hive, and the queen cells are cells that have potential queens that when they emerge, if there's more than one, they'll sort of fight to the death. And you should have one left that will then be the queen of that particular colony. It's the first time I've done it. I'm a wee bit sort of, I hope I've done it right. But we will see. But hopefully I will now have 2 colonies of bees. I bought this poppy. Actually, I think they're 3 plants. I bought them in springtime, and I've plonked them in here. If I just come back a bit, this is the area that the chickens, there's my knees. This is the area that the chickens like to scratch about in. And it looks a bit of a wasteland, so I'm starting to try and fill it up with little pockets of colour. And this is one of the things that I've done. Put in these poppies, and you can see I have at least 3, I might actually have more, at least 3 little blooms in the offing. So I can't wait to see those open. One of my female quail hatched 7 offspring October time, and out of those there was 2 males, and that gave me a bit of a headache because you can't just have lots of males together because they fight and can really damage each other quite badly. So I had 2 boys named Sid and Eddie, after Little and Large. For those of you that are old enough, they were comedians and television personalities a long time ago. Anyway, so we've got Sid and Eddie, the 2 boy quail, and they were in a hutch mounted on the wall within the chicken run. And at this point, I wanted to get them some girlfriends, and I needed to give them a bigger habitat. So I built, out of just spare bits of wood, so it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but I built this new quail run, and it's attached to the side of the chicken run. Now my ideal is that this will be one whole run, because it is a bit small for the 2 boys and the ladies that I've given them, but that will happen. I just need a vacancy in the other run down at the house, and then we will pop one of the boys down there, and the other one will stay up here with the girls. But as well as building this run, I got the boys some girlfriends, and here you can see one. They're a slightly different colouring. So the boys, here's Sid, and he is what's called a Japanese colouring. They're all Coturnix quail, but he's a Japanese colour, and the ladies are Italian coloured. So they're very, very pretty. I'll open this door. There's 2 in there with Sid, and there's 4 in here with Eddie, because Sid couldn't cope with, I was going to give him 3 each, but Sid couldn't cope with 3. He's a wee soul, and they actually are much, much bigger than the boys. So let me just show you. No jumpy. There we are. So the ladies don't have names yet. I'll need to put rings on them so that I can tell them apart. But they're very pretty. Hello. What have you got in your beak? What have you been eating? Hello. And there's little Sid. There we go. Oh, they had some watermelon. I'll take that out now. They've finished it, I think. They've got a little mezzanine as well, which they use from time to time. Hello, ladies. And here's Eddie. Here's my pot of parsnips, white gem, excuse me, and they're coming on really nicely. I made some little indents, some little stations using a plant pot, little circles around the outside and one in the middle, and in each station I put 3 seeds. And yeah, most of them have germinated, if not all of them. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, great germination. I might thin these out, or I might just leave them because I don't mind smaller parsnips. And I actually got some nice sized parsnips from this last year doing the same thing. So yeah. Oh, so that's us. And here's one of the brassica cages. This has got mostly cabbage and cauliflower in, various varieties. There's also that's actually a spearmint plant sitting in there, and I'm just trying to put things around the cabbages that might deter them getting eaten. I think mint will deter mice, etc., but I don't know, I sort of hoped it might deter rats as well. Not rats, I hoped it might deter slugs as well, sorry. So there's a couple of bits nibbled out. Over here, for example, we've definitely had a little bit of damage, but in the main, I'll just pull back, in the main they look quite good. And then if I just turn round, here's the biggest of the brassica cages, and that's full of cabbages, cauliflower, and there's a couple of Brussels sprouts in here as well. Oh, and just at this side, they're getting crowded out now, unfortunately. I had put, let's see if I can get you in. I had put some spare onions, but I think these are going to struggle because of their neighbours. Wednesday the 5th of June. It's a bit cool, a bit breezy, but I'm pleased to say that we have first signs of pods on this Oregon sugar pod Mange 2. Not quite ready for picking, but not too far away, and they are absolutely gorgeous. Can't wait. This is the Kent Blue peas. I only have a few plants, and the aim is to grow these really for getting saved seed rather than for eating, although I'm sure I'll eat 1 or 2 just to taste them. But they're coming on, but if you see it next to the Oregon plants, you can see there's quite a difference, although they did go in a lot earlier. And then next door to Kent Blue we have some Hurst Green Shaft. Now these did go in about the same time as Kent Blue, so Kent Blue are, yeah, a wee bit slower, but coming on. This bed has got garlic and shallots in it, and there's actually the odd carrot as well. The garlic was flattened a few weeks ago in high winds, and it's never stood back up again. The scapes it's hardneck garlic, and the scapes are coming in, but ideally I would have left it another couple of weeks, but I'm just going to lift it now. I do need the bed for something else, so let me lift this garlic. This is year on year been my own garlic that I've planted. It is Checkmate, I believe, but I'm maybe thinking I'm going to start with fresh seed next year, because it doesn't look as if it's done very well this year. Did quite well last year, but I think it's gradually maybe losing the will, if you like. Yeah, I think I'll pull this out, see what the harvest is like. It doesn't look like it's going to be excellent, and maybe next year I'll start afresh. That one's nice. I think that was maybe going to be one of the better ones though. Okay, that is actually a better harvest than I anticipated. I was being a bit down on it until I've pulled it up, but yeah. Oh, I'm just trying to not cast a shadow, but you can see some of them are actually, a lot of them actually are a nice size. These shallots are called Longor, and I actually sowed them on the 30th of September last year, and we're now in June. So I think they've done the growing that they're going to do. So out they come. Out they come. So that's from one. So there's a few little ones, but I am sure they will taste lovely, and I'll either incorporate them into some stews or whatever, because it is actually still stew weather, even although it's June over here in Scotland, because it's freezing, or I'll freeze. This one isn't so good. It's a little, yeah, it's a little small. I did have an idea of that it would be good having a couple of rows of carrots in between these things, but the carrots are, well, they only went in a month or two ago, so they're not really doing anything. But and I am going to put some brassicas in this bed, so I'll leave the carrots in, but I think the brassicas will shade them out eventually. It'll be a race to see who wins, see if the carrots can grow tall enough to continue to get light with the brassicas in the bed. This is a good little lot. So there's... Trying not to disturb the carrots actually. Like that. So, yeah, there's some eating in these. Excellent. So now that I've got the shallots and the garlic out of this bed and I've left the carrots, I am now going to put in some golden acre cabbages. So I've put the hoops on and I will put enviromesh over this once I've got the cabbages in. Before I do that though, I've got some chicken manure pellets and some fish blood and bone, and I'm going to dress the areas that I'm going to put the cabbages in. I don't think the carrots would like that very much to be fair, but I'll keep it where the cabbages are going. I don't think these carrots are going to manage to survive because the cabbages will probably just crowd them out, as I said earlier. But I don't have the heart to remove them because they all look nice and healthy. So I'll just leave them, and if they survive, they survive. If they thrive, they thrive. And if not, well, I've not lost anything by leaving them in. So I'm going to get the, I think I'm going to put 6 cabbages in here. I think I had 6 in last year actually. So 2, 2 and 2. I'll play dodge the carrot. And yeah, but first I'll get the fertiliser onto the bed and I'll mix it in, and I think I'm going to give this bed a good water as well, because although it's not been particularly nice weather, we haven't had tons of rain recently and there's been a very drying wind, so actually a lot of particularly pots and things are dried out, and they're needing pretty frequent watering as well. So yep, I'll just get the fertiliser on and get the bed watered, and then I'll get the cabbages in and then enviromesh over the top.
I'm looking up from my window, sun's coming up like the day before. You're like a stone on my pillow, I don't make a sound when I shut the door. You don't have to wake up yet. We can spend all day in bed. I'll put the TV in the room, we'll have a Netflix marathon, Kenny G saxophone. We'll order in a bunch of food, I'll put your favorite music on all the way baritone. Shut the lights, go infrared. We can spend all day in bed. I get the wine and the corkscrew. You don't have to do one single thing. You don't know how much I want you. Just looking at you makes my whole world spin. You don't have to wake up yet. We can spend all day in bed. I'll put the TV in the room, we'll have a Netflix marathon, Kenny G saxophone. We'll order in a bunch of food, I'll put your favorite music on all the way baritone. Shut the lights, go infrared. We can spend all day in bed.
There we go, safely netted with this debris netting. Nice. 6 golden acre cabbages and a little selection of, I think it's early known carrots. But I don't hold out too much hope for them, but hopefully the cabbages will do me proud. They did last year in this little bed.
I'll put the TV in the room. We'll have a Netflix marathon, Kenny G saxophone. We'll order in a bunch of food. I'll put your favorite music on, all the way baritone. Shut the lights, go infrared. We can spend